Well, thank you very much for the invitation to this academic track on behalf of the Instituto del Bienestar. And just trying to see if it works. It's the green button, right? Okay. Despite the enormous progress we have been observing during the last decade, we are still facing huge problems in terms of, for example, almost 1/3 of the population is living in poverty, or, for example, global warming and climate change. So the question is, where might the solution to these big problems comes from? And according to the standard economic theory, human beings, we are selfish. We will always have scarce resources and poverty. So probably, according to the economic theory, there's not a solution to all these problems. But if we see happiness research, we can find that happiness is good for individuals, good for our society, and good for the planet. So in summary, a couple of examples. Happier people fight stronger against poverty reductions, inequalities, show higher levels of altruism and environmental protection. And that's the reason that motivates us to create the Instituto del Bienestar, to show a new way to solve the human and society problems. But a very important question is, okay, if happiness is a path to solve this problem, how could we become happier? We organize every year a massive high-level conference on happiness and well-being in Chile. And during our third conference, we invited this guy. This guy is Matthew Ricard. Matthew Ricard is well known for being the happier man in the world. But most importantly, is Matthew Ricard has developed a new way of understanding altruism and prosocial behavior. Matthew Ricard, when he went to Chile, started a revolution in terms of what could we do for others. And I think that was the main message from Matthew. In very short words, he said that every person he knew and who was very happy was someone else that learned to serve others. But altruism is not only good for our happiness, it's also very good for helping society and for helping people to solve the previous problems I showed you. But how we understand happiness? Because I will try to show a few studies we have conducted in Chile. And basically, the study of happiness or the study of well-being has been characterized by two traditions, the hedonic approach and the eudaimonic approach. And subjective well-being is probably the most studied construct to understand the hedonic one. And subjective well-being refers basically to think that our life is good and also to have higher positive emotions and affects and only occasional negative emotions. That's the hedonic approach. If you try to look at or find in your iPhone or internet the word happy, you will probably see this kind of image. And that's the reason why most people assume that when we are talking about happiness, we are talking about joy or emotions. But happiness is much more than this. We have the second approach, the eudaimonic approach. And according to the eudaimonic approach, which is mainly the Aristotelic traditions, well-being does not consist only on pleasure and emotions. Well-being is the actualization of human potentials, meaning, and self-realizations. There are several approaches to study eudaimonic approach, but in particular, I work a lot with the self-determination approach. Self-determination is a theory about human motivation and personality and optimal human functioning. And DC and Ryan, they developed the theory in Rochester more than 4 decades ago, state that the key for well-being is to satisfy our psychological needs for autonomy, for competence, for relatedness. That's the second approach. So we have the hedonic approach, the eudaimonic approach, and we have a third approach. Seligman developed the flourishing approach. He said that well-being is not only hedonic nor eudaimonic, it's something like combines both, and there's 5 factors for Seligman, and each letter represents one construct for well-being. For example, P is positive emotion, and M is meaning. Okay, what we did. I just want to share you some results of our research in Latin America. Most studies about altruism and happiness are cross-sectional. So basically, you measure the variables at the same time, and it doesn't allow to imply causality, for example. If you find a link between happiness and altruism, the question is happiness causing altruism or altruism causing happiness? So the first thing we did was a longitudinal study to see cause and effect patterns. And the most important things we found is we used 3 different measures to test the link between altruism and happiness. For example, the first measure you see there is the hedonic approach. So we collected measures for subjective well-being, life satisfaction, and emotion. And what we found is a strong reverse causal link. So what does it mean? That when your subjective well-being increases, you are more altruistic. So happier people is more altruistic. But also the reverse link. When you are more altruistic, you are more happy from the hedonic approach. Then we tested the eudaimonic approach from the SDT, self-determination theory, basic psychological need. And we found exactly the same. When you satisfy more your psychological needs, or when you are happier from the eudaimonic approach, you are more altruistic. But also, when you are more altruistic, you feel your needs are more satisfied. And that's, again, a causal link. And thirdly, and finally, we tested the Seligman approach, and we found exactly the same. When people have higher levels of flourishing, they are more altruistic. So when people is happier from the flourishing or Seligman approach, they are more altruistic. But the reverse link is also possible. So when you are more altruistic, you flourish more as a person, as a human being. I love this quote from Washington, which he said, happiness and moral duty are inseparably connected. So basically, if we move to a more altruistic society, as a human being, we will become happier, but also we will be helping the planet. Altruistic, there's no one definition for altruism, but altruism could be donating time, money, volunteering, protecting the environment, etc. The point is that altruism is good for the people, for the society, and for the planet. That's the reason why we deeply believe in what Matthew Ricard said in terms we have to move to an altruistic society. If we keep thinking that we are selfish, and that's the key for the capitalistic system, probably we won't find a solution for poverty, for inequalities, for the destruction of the planet. That's the reason why we urgently need to move to an altruistic society. When Matthew Ricard went to Chile, he gave amazing talks. And he gave us his picture. He's a very famous photographer, and that's a real picture of animals. Have a look at this one. Or there's another one. If animals easily could be altruistic and cooperative, as you said, why human beings can't? That's the message. That's the Chilean team, and thank you for listening. And there's one small point. I have a friend from the Chilean team, he's Roberto. He wants to share a few things about what he has seen in the world about altruism, but basically about smiles. He has a wonderful project, and our research also showed that when you smile more, you are in better positions to help the planet. And just a couple of minutes for Roberto Goron.
Thanks. Hi, thanks so much, Wencho. It's been a journey, a 4 years journey about self-discovery. I didn't even know that I will be doing something like this. I want to introduce you this little dog here. His name is Robbie. And we will traveling together because we were trying to find out what happiness means. At some point in my life, I thought I was a successful guy. Like, I found something that motivated me because I have my own business and I was doing really well. And I thought, that's it. But at one point, I realized that it wasn't enough. It's like, I want more. And I was looking for something more meaningful. But I wasn't able to stop because everything was happening so fast that I realized maybe it's not the right time now. So I was postponing my happiness. It seems like we are always thinking of something better, and we are waiting for that perfect moment that never comes. And at that moment, when everything started, I realized that I just need time for myself. And I started this little journey of 3 months. I said, okay, I need this time for myself to figure out what I really want from life. And it became the journey of my life. Now I find a purpose. I'm the smile collector, and I've been traveling the world 4 years now, collecting the smiles and stories that inspire me to find something more meaningful in my life. So I didn't have any idea. I don't know, I'm not sure how I make it until here. But I've been in 50 countries now, just connecting with stories that inspire me. And this little puppy represents the love and happiness and this positive energy that people hug him and give to pass through others. So my goal is to be in every single country to activate this movement of kindness and generosity, because that's the way I've been traveling, just staying with people at places like different than I will ever imagine. And that gave me the strength to carry on and says, it's possible. When you have a dream, you are able to achieve it when you have passion, because you are grateful for it. Okay, thanks so much. This is a part of my dream. I've been doing this just because I do want to connect and learn with people that is so different that sometimes we are not able to understand. But when you open your heart, you realize that you don't have to understand. You just need to appreciate and accept our difference and celebrate that doesn't matter how different we can be, a smile connects us and become the universal language, because everybody smile in the same color. Yes. Okay, I will show this. was
That is
from
our other project.
yeah, yes. It's just because you're not just collecting a smile, you're spreading love and happiness. So it feels like I'm a messenger of love and ambassador of happiness. And people in this picture, you can really see that in the, even we are different, everybody is able to connect with this positive emotion. And I truly believe that a smile is the manifestation of gratitude in your heart. And from the moment you're grateful for life, you are not afraid to take risk to achieve your dreams. And that's what I'm doing. And that's what I want to share with you guys. So if you see me out there, please ask me for a hug, and I will collect your smile to share it with the world. That's what I want. Thanks so much.